Further up this path is more evidence that the Ark may have come here from Jerusalem. It's a secret burial place. Bob says there's a body under the rocks.
These rocks are filling up this big crack in the rock. And these rocks are actually placed over a man. He was considered a Levitical priest.
From Jerusalem.
From Jerusalem. They say he is the actual man that brought the Ark here and that chose this spot for its protective place.
Given the Levites' biblical role as the bearers of the Ark, this could be more evidence that the Ark really did come here from Jerusalem. Bob takes me above the grave to discuss the significance of this connection.
Underneath these rocks, I think, is a secret to a huge mystery. I think if we ever got some answers from who is here, it really lay a good case out that the Ark actually came here.
And why else would an Israeli priest be here? Okay. One day, the body may be exhumed. DNA testing could even confirm this story. But, for now, the rainy season is putting a damper on our plans. Again. So, we'll get some sleep and pick up our quest in the morning. My quest to follow the trail of the lost Ark of the Covenant has taken me from Mount Sinai in Egypt, where the Ark's story began, to Jerusalem, where the Ark mysteriously disappeared. Then, here to Ethiopia, where it's said to be today. I'm here with explorer Bob Cornuke on Tana Kirkos Island. It's where the Ark was supposedly kept after leaving Jerusalem. Bob knows the Abba, the head priest here, and that has given us special access to the treasures they keep under lock and key.
So one of the great things about coming here with Bob is that he's not afraid to ask really personal questions. And because of his friendship with the community, the Abba has agreed to show us some of their precious relics. So come over here and take a look.
Behind these heavy doors is the temple treasury of the island. So they have all of these really old, unique artifacts in here that they say are from Solomon's temple. And every year I come here, they bring out a little bit more, and so maybe today we'll get to see another little bit of their treasury. This is called a gomer.
Gomer.
And it's made out of bronze. And it does fit with the description of an artifact from the Bible and even the temple. They claim it's from Solomon's temple. This gomer was placed on
Bob tells me they placed the gomer on a stand and used it to collect the blood from a slaughtered animal. But what's remarkable about this is that the Israelites stopped practicing animal sacrifice almost 2,000 years ago.
I mean, it's hard to put into words. It's a tangible
because where
link with
would they have
the Temple of
gotten
Solomon,
this?
the Jewish people.
Of course, this is quite old. You can see.
But that's just the beginning. This is a treasure trove of religious relics, and each one seems to take us closer to the true story of the Ark.
Moses is holding the 2 tablets of the 10 Commandments on this. They're pulling all kinds of stuff.
The monk is now bringing out a couple of pretty interesting objects. They call them meat forks. People were a lot smaller in ancient times, but this is very old, and I think it could possibly have some kind of connection with priestly garments and the sacrifices of the animals by the Levitical priests.
Well, the only, from what I know of ancient Judaism, the only person who wore the breastplate was the high priest. But he would have had a plate on the front of this that had the stones of the 12 tribes of Israel.
The high priest who wore this was considered the sole guardian of the Ark. Was he the man buried in the rocks on the island? Was he the one said to have brought the Ark here?
So if this is here, I mean, all the other stuff says a lot, but if this is here, then it almost requires that the high priest was here. That's compelling.
These items were used in Jewish ceremonies. So did Judaism survive here after the Levite priests were gone?
What did he say?
Did their religion take hold in Ethiopia?
It's Old Testament.
Really?
This whole area was Jewish, and they called themselves Beta Israel, or House of Israel. And so the historical Jewish roots go back to this area from about 500 BC.
So there are Ethiopian Jews who trace their religion to exactly the time the Levites would have brought the Ark to this island. And Bob tells me the Beit Israel practice an ancient form of Judaism even today.
Usually when we're in archaeology, we're finding little scraps of pottery, little scraps of evidence.
Yeah.
But here,
It's like smoking guns.
it just keeps mounting, and it matches with their oral traditions and their ancient written traditions that the Ark was on this island.
So we have all these artifacts that link this island to Jerusalem, Judaism, and the Ark. But what happened to the Ark itself? Bob tells me Ethiopians believe that when Christianity swept Ethiopia in the 4th century AD, a king named Ezana took the Ark to Axum, his capital. And amazingly, they believe it's still there, with the actual tablets of the Ten Commandments still inside. So Axum's the next place to go. But can we get off the island before the rains come?
So it's 3:40 and the storm is coming in, which means we're going to have a hell of a boat ride back to the mainland. This is the storm we were trying to avoid. We've got lightning almost all around us right now.
We're 3 hours out from our destination, and we've got only 2 hours of daylight left.
Both of these men are looking out desperately trying to find a marker buoy to get us through these dangerous rocks. And there are a lot of rock outcroppings right below the surface that will rip the bottom right out of this boat.
Bob survived a storm like this on Lake Tana before, and he knows just how dangerous it can be.
About 3 years ago, I had a similar situation where we had to be rescued by fishermen in the middle of the night in a bad storm, and this is exactly the same situation. This skipper is really nervous. You can see on his face. It's etched on his face, the situation.
We have no compass and no radar to guide us around the rock. I just hope we can get off this boat alive and make it to Axum to see if the Ark is really there. In my search for the true story of the lost Ark of the Covenant, explorer Bob Cornick and I have just visited an island monastery in Ethiopia.
Yeah, sure.
The priest there showed us some compelling evidence that the Ark once rested on the island. But 3 hours from safety, with darkness falling, a violent thunderstorm has struck, and we're completely lost.
And so we've been searching the horizon, looking for any sign of where we are.
We're not only concerned about being lost, but about the rocks lurking just below the waves. Finally, someone spots the shore. What a relief. Every year, boats sink on Lake Tana in storms just like this one.
We ran out of light, but we have radio communication with the beacon in front of us.
From here, we just safely coast into the dock. We're now on the road and heading to Axum, where some Ethiopians believe they have not only the Ark, but the tablets of the Ten Commandments too.
Well, this is the village of the Ark, Axum.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Well, it's a lot more rustic than I was expecting.
It's a small little village, but they claim that they have the Ark of the Covenant from the Bible.
Where would it be?
Well, in that cluster of little churches down there, there's one very important church.
Ethiopians believe the Ark was brought here to Axum from Tana Kirkos Island in the 4th century AD by an Ethiopian king named Ezana.